Alright everybody, welcome to Thinking Outside the Pod. I'll be your host for this week. I am none other than Brandon Fisher Foster Welsiak III. I don't know what we're doing, and I am joined by...
Patrick, how's everybody doing today? I know you can't answer me, but I like to ask anyways.
It's rhetorical.
Yeah.
We just ask questions that you can't answer.
Definitely. We're coming at you from our old digs, the audio booth we started in. We're in search of a new spot for the meantime.
We're trying to figure out some stuff. I mean, we don't know about our previous, I guess, current/recording place. We don't know. We'll figure it out. We got to get with Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy's currently still out on his walkabout. He's probably backpacking through Europe somewhere, maybe salt flats of Australia.
Who knows, yeah.
Yeah, he could be anywhere right now. If you guys see Jimmy, hashtag him, take a picture of it, send it to us, hashtag him, Jimmy's walkabout.
Tell him come back, we miss him.
yeah, tell him definitely come back. Foster misses him.
Yes, very deeply. I know, that sounds pretty bad, huh?
Well, we have a good show today, don't we?
Do we? I guess. I don't know. We're just kind of just coming up with stuff, because unfortunately, it's one of those we're on time constraints, so we got to make this rather quick episode.
No. This is going to be a full-fledged
it'll be as best as we can make it.
You're not supposed to tell them right off the bat that this is going to be a shitty episode, fucker. Come on.
Oh, come on. Or if I disclaimer, we'll put a big giant disclaimer sign over.
We're going to put a banner over the video that says, do not watch this episode. It's going to be a good episode. We've got some... Fisher is going to be he's hosting this one, of course. He was talking to me about some really cool stuff. Why don't you go ahead and get into it?
All right, so South Park. I don't know if you keep up with that, but me and my dad, we've been watching the most recent episodes because oddly enough, for once, they actually had like a 4-part episode continuation story thing.
They've done a couple of them like that. Eric Cartman's father, they drug that through like 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Well, I guess that has been a while. I guess it's just been a while since they've done one, or at least since I've seen it. But I mean, they're doing all sorts of stuff. So I mean, it's one of those just talking about everything they covered. I mean, there's just so much you could talk about. But one of the major points that I thought that hit me was kind of like they were basically making fun of like YouTube videos and stuff like that. Like they're saying that this generation is kind of more so watching videos like on their phone, on their tablets and stuff like that, as opposed to going to the living room and like watching watching TV or playing video games with your family, that kind of stuff. Like now it's starting to become kind of
an isolated thing to do by yourself, that rather than have like family time with it.
Sure, because
it's like you can gather around a TV with your family and all enjoy like television shows. But usually, like if you go to a living room nowadays, you're more likely to find each person of the family like on their iPhone or iPad, or or they're not just iPhone products, but like laptops, cell phones,
just whatever,
or tablets,
digital device. I guess,
and all of them are watching the shit they want to watch actually, instead of like the stuff that
Sure, I mean oddly, strangely talking like that. I mean, my family, we do kind of we still actually every once in a while we'll go in the living room and all watch TV and
one
stuff.
Show.
Yeah, I mean, we still do a little bit. I mean, of course, sometimes we'll pull out our phones and play with those, but for the most part, we still get together and we'll watch stuff on occasion.
I remember when I was a kid growing up, that's the way it was. Like, about dinner time, everybody would eat and we'd be watching television, and then after we ate, everybody would go to the living room and, like, watch, primetime television and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's one of those of also, they're just kind of showing, like, the divide and stuff like that. Like, they're saying, like, older people don't understand, like... For me, like the main example that they were giving for YouTube videos was stuff like the video game channels and stuff like that. Like how it's kind of odd for people on the outside who don't know what the hell it's about and stuff like that. They're just kind of making fun of like people saying like people who don't understand are like old fashioned and stuff like that. Because to be quite honest, I mean, I watch those type of videos, and hell, I don't know why I like them. I guess it's just odd. I find them entertaining. I mean, it's so strange that I happen to like watching people play other video games. Yeah, I mean, and I can just go.
I thought that was weird as hell every time I see you watching stuff like that. I think it's weird as hell. It's like, dude, you're rather than play the game, you're watching somebody else play the game. And I mean, when I was growing up, we had the the NES, Nintendo's Entertainment System. We, like, 4 of my friends would gather at, like, one of our houses. All of us had one, so we'd all, take a video game over, like, maybe, say, Super Contra, for instance.
Sure.
And 2 of us would play until when one of us died, we'd pass the stick,
Sure.
The next guy jumped in and he would play it. But, I mean, the whole time we're just sitting there waiting for our chance to play this game, like, whoever's off in the cut just watching, he's like miserable. You're miserable watching these things. So it's like that's why I can't understand why nowadays people kind of gravitate towards watching them. I mean, granted, the video games look a hell of a lot better nowadays. There's a whole like list of shit more that you can do rather than just like side scrolling and shooting. You know?
Well, sure. Well, I think kind of what makes that type of stuff work today is more so of like now that you can have like a separate camera and stuff like that, like you put a personality. It's not just watching just gameplay footage of somebody. Usually there's somebody attached to it, and they usually have a style. Usually they'll try to edit their videos like, okay, we're just going to make this like a serious, like a let's play. Like we're just going to play this game. We're going to talk over it, just have some fun.
I'm sure you have like the comedy versions.
There'll be comedies
too, right?
and stuff like that, like Game Grumps.
Like if I was playing a game, I'd be like, take this, motherfucker.
Well, I mean, they do stuff like that, and sometimes they'll do they'll just kind of talk back and forth and stuff like that. It varies from channel to channel. Like some channels, they'll actually put together like a well-produced.
Yeah, I like to talk
edited
smack
video
when I play video games.
So yeah, I mean, you get a couple of those videos. I mean, it's all over the place. But yeah, I mean, it's such a strange thing that nowadays, when you think about it, we are slowly
getting away from the group activity that was television.
Yeah, because one of the quotes they had in the South Park episode was, what was it? As we get more connected, we get further apart, or something like that.
That's a good quote. I mean, honestly, I think part of the reason why that's happening nowadays is because children are starting to get technology into their hands, like a cell phone or a tablet, into their hands a lot younger now.
Yeah.
And that started happening maybe a few years, before the children started getting that. I know of like instances where some of my friends, children, they would let them play the computer video games like Aliens versus Plants, or what is it, Zombies versus Plants?
Zombies versus Plants, yeah.
So I've seen like a 2-year-old kid sit at this computer, desktop computer, and just play this game like for hours, you know what I mean,
yeah.
to keep them occupied. Or go put on a Netflix on the computer and let the kid just sit there and watch some cartoons, just to keep them out of her hair for a minute so she can get like some laundry done, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest reasons for like this whole divide is that children are starting to grow up with technology a lot younger. I was about maybe like 6 or 7 years old before I got my first video game system, which was the Nintendo, the NES. So I had already had like a few years worth of bonding with my parents, bonding with friends, my brother and my sister, not just, okay, like I'm a kid and just freaking drooling all over the, my tablet or whatever. And nowadays, it went from the laptop, from desktops, not people using laptops. Nowadays, people use cell phones. They give their kids their cell phone, let them play video games.
That or a cheap tablet or something.
Or a cheap tablet, yeah, something that they're not afraid of them ruining. Because, not to say they're going to ruin it, but there's always that chance you give a kid a tablet, he's going to break it or, mess it up somehow. But I think that's the biggest thing. Even until you're your teens,
I'd still be worried.
I think that's the biggest thing is that kids are growing up with more and more, starting a lot younger than in previous years. And I can see this being like the standard from now on. As soon as the kid's old enough to push buttons on a tablet, they're like putting it in his face so that they can go get laundry done or do some dishes or like clean up around the house.
Yeah.
So, it's not a bad thing, but it does create this disconnect between the parent and the child to where the child feels as they get older that they can just turn to this device and do whatever they like with it,
Yeah. It's definitely, on the other flip side of that, though, like they're saying, like the part of as we get more connected and stuff like that. On the other end, though, is this technology does actually, bring us closer and stuff like that. Because when you think of it without the internet, like stuff like podcasts and stuff like that. Imagine before the internet. How do you, what do? You get a cassette tape or something like that and hand it around.
You have to listen to the radio.
Yeah, the radio and stuff like that. You gotta go through broadcasts and stuff like that. But you look at it nowadays, and it's just like hell. Anybody, hell, like us.
Look at us.
Yeah,
look at what we're doing.
You invest a little bit of money. You don't have to invest as much as we have, but it's one of those. If you can get some real basic equipment, you could put something online. You got like YouTube, you got Twitch, you got all sorts of outlets and stuff like that. So
it has grown to allow people like us to be able to do stuff like this, and that's a good thing. That is a very good thing. But like I was saying, on the opposite side, you can Facebook somebody and have a big old conversation on Facebook, commenting and stuff like that, or on Twitter, and then walk right past that person in the hallway and not say anything about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's kind of awkward. Usually I try to Facebook with people that I know in real life. I usually try not to.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Like it just... that's a whole nother aspect of it is like, those people you may know that come up on your Facebook feed and stuff like that. I don't know half of these people,
Yeah.
I go through some of my friends list and I'm like, who is this guy? And I go and click on his stuff. And then I'm like, oh, friends, one friend in common. Well, let's go look at them. I'm like, well, who is this guy? You know what I mean? It's like, Maybe somebody I met like once in my life, and now I'm friends with one of their friends who I have no idea of anything about.
I think it just kind of randomly goes through your friends list and looks up, oh, hey, you may know this person because you know this person. And I mean, because I've noticed, like half the people it says, you may know this person. It's like, no, I have no idea who that person is.
No idea who that is. Yeah, it just gets stuck to some things like that. But like with YouTube, don't they now go through the stuff that you watch and like give you suggestions as to stuff that you might like or might want to watch?
I think it kind of goes off of like tags and stuff like that. So if you I probably, since it's like Google and stuff like that, and they do ads and stuff, yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably keep a track. Like if you log in, like if you do it as
that's
anonymous.
a whole nother creepy thing with Google, man. I was Googling some shit like for shopping for some tennis shoes. I go onto Facebook a few minutes later, and like all the ads on my Facebook feed are like with shoes and certain shoes that I was already looking at.
That is completely yes, that
and
is the
they're
thing.
selling information, or they're trading, or however they're doing it. They're giving information that's gathered online to third parties for use for some other. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what Facebook wants to have ads like that for. I'm never going to go shopping through Facebook, but I thought it was strange because I was like, whatever I look up at the time will come up in my Facebook.
Well, it's because they
feed.
make money that way. I mean, they make money from ads and stuff like that. That's how a lot of websites make their money.
That is crazy.
So I mean, yeah. So I mean, and probably with Facebook, since you said you were Googling it and then went to Facebook, it probably just takes probably some of your internet browser's cache and just says, oh, I've visited these sites or your cookies or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it just
Pulls
shoots
that
it.
and shoots you a link to something that you might want to be interested in. I think that is a little much. I mean, that kind of creeps me out a bit.
See, that's one of those things. So if you ever read those, don't ever read the end user license agreement stuff.
Yeah.
Don't ever read those because some of that stuff on there is just terrifying. You're just like, just accept it, steal my information because I mean, you're like, well,
because it's gonna happen anyway.
Because unfortunately, you're like, oh well. Because what scares me is when people get your cell phone number and stuff like that, and they start calling you and stuff like that.
My cell phone
number's
up on my Facebook page. I don't know, just in case. I don't know.
I don't think mine is, but I mean, I just randomly.
I'm gonna put Fisher's on his Facebook page, guys. You guys can go look up later and give this guy a call and let him know how creepy you guys can be.
You gotta do it in a deep voice and stuff like that, heavy breathing and stuff like that.
We love you.
I love you too.
Oh.
I don't care.
Become fans of Welsiak, guys.
But
YouTube videos with sound.
Yeah, YouTube. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because I mean, like if you like broadcast television and stuff like that, we had a meeting kind of about it last week and stuff like that, and they're definitely wanting to push towards more of internet stuff. I mean,
that like they say first, everybody usually gets the news first to their cell phone, whether it be a news app update, notification that you get. I know I'm into fantasy football, so I have like the Yahoo Sports fantasy football app.
Yeah.
Plus, I have like the Bleacher Report app on my phone, which covers like all my players that are in sports. They have like constant updates with it. Bleacher Report is another interesting story, though. Real quick background: these guys started off really small and now got been bought out by like corporations to where they have enough money to pay decent wages for the content providers, so you can. It's probably like Sports Center for your cell phone. You know what I mean? And it's intense because there's a lot of people that started off with it that didn't like it because they weren't getting paid very well. But I mean, as any online deal, you got to start up from somewhere.
Yeah.
And now you become a writer there. You can make videos for them. Videos, and then you're just talking about your section of sports or whatever.
Sure.
And uploading that, and then you become a pretty well-known, guy who's covering this sport.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting, the way stuff like that's been popping up a lot lately. But back to what I was saying about notifications. Say I have those two apps, and Bleacher Report. Anytime something's happening in my fantasy football, they send me a notification. Comes at the top of my phone. I scroll down, and I get to read a little quick thing about it. Click on it and see a video or see something.
Yeah, or get some more details on it. Sure, yeah.
And I mean, that's the way everything goes now. You have your cell phone, you have a news app on there. If some breaking news comes up, you're going to get a little notification. You scroll down and you go reading through there. Click on there for more information. That's changed the rules completely.
Yeah.
As far as waiting till 4, 5, 6 or your 10 o'clock news,
Yeah.
Because you don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to wait to know what's going to happen. I think the best thing people can do now is use their apps for their stations to push the notifications out. And while they're pushing the notifications out, ask people to respond on the social media pages of the stations.
Sure.
And that way, when you go on the news, you can say, this is some of the feedback we've gotten from our viewers.
Yeah.
And give them a little shout out. And I think that's kind of the wave of the future, I think, to make broadcasting television, like a news broadcast, a little more interactive with the people
Sure.
that they're trying to get into, you know?
Well, because something along those lines, what I remember for a while what G4 was trying to do before they went under was they pretty much like they used to do old replays of Cops and stuff like that, but then what they did is they did what they call Cops 2.0, which pretty much it was just the same episode of Cops or whatever, but they had it where you could go online and
tweet, live tweet,
you
with
can
them
live
and
tweet and
like
stuff like that. So I mean, I kind of see that. 'Cause, I mean, that unfortunately, you know, with broadcast, you have to be a little bit more careful with that.
Yes.
But I definitely think that's something that, you know, we may not necessarily see that. What we may see is there'll be like a previous conversation, like where like, you know, an anchor or somebody like that will sit down and they'll chat with people.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And then they'll
yeah.
take quotes from that and then talk about it.
You can sit there and have somebody, you know, chat on their, say, Facebook or their Twitter while before the news. So when you have the breaking notifications on your phone, you've got a little article about it, a real quick produced piece, digitally, like the digital producer will produce a piece and put that online. Sends you the notification to your phone. You get the notification. You'll have a link there to the Facebook and the Twitter, and they'll say, you know, share your thoughts with on here. Or maybe just a comment, a box, the drop-down box for the comments under something like that. And, of course, you'll have to have somebody go through and filter out the good ones and stuff. But, I mean, people are pretty good about posting good comments. I mean, whether it be like a troll, like totally blasting people, you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
like grammar Nazis.
Sure.
People like to fucking, and then once somebody posts something ridiculous, you have all the other trolls that come out and say like, well, wait a minute, you know what I mean? So I think that's the next way to get people involved. And I think once you've done something like that, some of these good opinions that do come out on it, you can involve them and have, you know, do a little story, send somebody out to do a little interview on them on why they think this is going like that.
Sure.
But I think that's the interaction that the news broadcasting nowadays is going to have to start getting into. And then that way, when the 5 o'clock news comes, you can tell the people, hey, well, we're going to use your quote from your Facebook comment on our newscast.
Yeah.
And that'll expand the audience some more, you know, rather
Sure.
than crushing it down the way that the cell phones have lately.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, that's definitely one of those
I mean, I'm sure there's other ways that to do it, but I think that's kind of like the next step as far as is making it more interactive with the watchers.
they just get, it's just one of those of, you know, because like as of right now, you kind of look and you have your broadcast television as one and then your website is the other. I mean, I think we're going to start seeing more of a combination of the two. Because I think kind of another step would be just do the entire newscast online. I mean, that's definitely something. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen for broadcast, but I think that might be something that you start seeing like little guys like us might be able to do.
Well, I mean, I've always been down to do video broadcasting on any kind of stuff like that. I've always been in for it. The thing is the time, you know what I mean? We always try to make time. We've been pumping these out for about a year now, these podcasts every Monday. We record their tape. We record them on the weekend. We put them out every Monday. We haven't really missed, man, you know? I think maybe one week we've missed. But other than that, we've usually been on it. Even like today, if we had to condense an episode. But we try to be as consistent as possible. And I think that counts a lot for somebody who's trying to be successful in this stuff.
Sure.
But, you know, we're in the same boat as well. We're trying to make more. We're trying to get our content out there and have other people interact with it and then see what we can do with that. Some of our best episodes have been episodes where we've interviewed other people's over the phone even. You know, I've gone out and interviewed somebody. And that's because, you know, you're drawing in more people. You're getting everybody, you're getting more people to interact with. And I think that's the way that the news broadcasting and, you know, just shows in general are going to start doing. Kind of like you said, the Cops 2.0. But, maybe not showing a rerun with, you know, maybe we're showing like a new.
I mean, it'll be like new stuff, but sure. But I mean, you know, it's one of those. Who knows? I mean, it's because like when you think of it nowadays, I mean, all you need is a green screen.
Yeah,
you get
definitely.
that, and there you go. You got a set.
Definitely.
You just light it up, and then you just have somebody stand in front. You just get a real basic camera, and you just, you know.
Well, I mean, nowadays
Photoshop
even like
a
an
set.
HD camera is, you know, you can pick one up for about $300-$400. So a small handheld HD camera, and that's really all you need. You know, flash storage, and then shoot it to your laptop and do a little editing. And,
sure.
you know,
I mean, it just depends on how.
up.
Yeah, depends on how fancy you want to get. Just, I mean, you don't need a camera like I got. I mean, that's just one that I.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a nice camera.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it costs a little bit more than I would have liked, but it's like, I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's gotten some really good video.
Hell yes. We did that interview for Vinny Vincent and his adoption documentary. That came out really well.
Yeah, I would say, did that end up on the website? I haven't really had to check it.
Yeah, it is up on the
final.
website. I color corrected as much as I could without making it look awful. It came out really good. I didn't really mess with it much. I just tweaked a little bit on it to lighten it up, and it came out really nice.
Yeah, so I mean, we're definitely hoping to try to find some time to do some more stuff.
What was the other stuff? The stuff we did about the vampires for Halloween. Always Sunny in Transylvania. Those were shot with your camera, and so was the last one we've done, Being Brandon Fisher.
Yeah.
So I mean, we put some work on it. We're putting some miles on it slowly but surely.
Yeah, because I mean, eventually I'd like to get a super fancy camera and do some really fancy stuff, but that's way down the line. Because those things are expensive as hell.
Well, I mean,
so.
We should invest in like a Blu-ray style, Blu-ray quality camera, and that way we all look in 3D when we're moving around. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, those things, those are definitely expensive. That's at least like $4,000 for a decent one.
Oh, I bet, though, man. I bet.
But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's definitely something, fortunately, life is starting to, change for us a little bit, so we're trying to all figure out what's going on, and we'll hopefully have some more time for stuff. So, I mean, I'd love to do like a little mock newscast or something like that, do a little bit more chroma key stuff.
I think I'm slowly tearing Jimmy down into doing stuff like that. I think during the week, there's times where we can get into a green wall and record some short, either funny, ridiculous, or some kind of like little segments about stuff,
Yeah.
Because I know, like with you wanted to be like doing the tech side of things.
Yeah, video games / tech.
I've always done like music and art stuff, and Jimmy's all about making movies and loving the movies that he's really into like movies. If you go to Jimmy's blog, Thinking Outside the Pod /movies or no, backslash Jimmy, he's got a whole list of stuff that he's blogged about as far as movie reviews, movie trailers, new stuff like that. If you go through mine, Thinking Outside the Pod /Patrick, it's got a bunch of stuff that has to do with music, local music, national music, and artists, because I love that. I love that kind of stuff.
You've got mine, which has like nothing on it.
Fisher, working on it.
Kinda, yeah. It's unfortunately that's just not my. It's one of those of I'd rather if I'm gonna do stuff, I'd more so do video. I'm not
plug in your
camera,
upload it to YouTube, and then put it on your blog.
That's just it's trying to figure out exactly what I want to do, and I just haven't. I don't have the time for it, really. That's the issue.
Everybody's got the time for it. You just don't make the time. If you want to do something, you find the time to do it.
I've been working on getting ready for school and stuff like that. I've had other stuff that I had to worry about. School.
Well, I mean, you're not in school yet, so you know what I'm saying?
Got a month. Less than a month. Saying.
You got enough time to populate a blog and a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But if anything, we can send it to our YouTube channel. Then you just post a video to your blog, and then blog about what you're talking about a bit, and set up the video basically.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean, there's some ideas I've been tossing around. It's just I need more people. That's just one of those. That's also just need bodies.
Yeah, I hear that.
So that's the issue, is getting bodies to do it.
But as far as the podcast, like I said, I'm talking to Jimmy, and Jimmy's shot it down plenty of times. And I just don't think he thinks it's worth the time and the effort. But for me, I think it would be really fun to be able to get us on the wall and talk about a little stuff that didn't make the episode the week before, or stuff that we don't think might make the episode this week. Just to give a little bit of this, that, and the other half.
Or just be like short segments that we just stick on the YouTube channel and just say it's not even in the podcast.
Definitely.
Just because,
It'd be its own entity at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can post those stuff that we've done. Like, say we shoot one of you talking about something. We can shoot you on it, edit it up, make it about a 2-minute video, and then upload it to YouTube, put it on your blog. You know
just like a real basic background with a little graphic that we can change and stuff like that. I mean,
even for stuff that we do talk about on the podcast, you can go and record your insight about the stuff or why you wanted to talk about it, how it came about. And then we can put that out there before the podcast, and then during the podcast we can go a little more in depth about everything.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's something we can explore.
I think that's the next level of our little podcast production here. As far as Jimmy, like I said, he really, I've had a hard time. I thought he would be really in for it. I've had a hard time talking him into the fact that I think this should be our next step. But
we'll still do the traditional talking and stuff like that.
Definitely.
That's definitely something. Yeah, we'll keep up because that's pretty much what it is. But definitely, I'd love to do more video content and stuff.
I would too, man. I think back a few years ago, that was the big thing that changed. There was a shift from normal blogs to people just doing video, and I can understand because you don't want to sit there and read a whole thing, you know. But if someone's on camera telling you what you know, you can just listen. You don't even have to look at the thing sometimes, you know.
Sure.
And I think that's with that combined with like people's short attention spans. I think that's just that's why it was the next wave. That's why there's so many videos.
Like it'll just
now.
be short clippets. Like it won't be, we won't do like a half-hour thing. I mean, if it's going to be a half-hour thing, it'll be a bunch of little things put together, stitched together. Which actually, going back to the news thing, I think that's more so what's going to happen is instead of having one anchor read everything, you may have like a guy for everything. I think
like the way we have different reporters out and different stuff, make them cut a.
Well, but I mean, as opposed to just having reporters, video. I'm talking like they're going to have like a video game guy, a music guy, a movie guy, and then that person does all the stories for that genre. I think, and then you'll get more specialized and stuff like that. So then it's like, okay, this is our expert on this subject. If the story comes up for our newscast, we give it to them, and they do it.
I think.
So you add a personality to this subject, and so it's like, oh, okay. If I see this person, they're talking about this type of stuff. I think that might do it. And then since they're just working on that type of stuff, they can interact with people online a little bit more because
people know who they are. Yeah.
So it's not like you have,
and they're not like a different reporter that's constantly rotating through. They might not know as much as
sure.
like kind of like the Bleacher Report people, those guys who cover the sports like say football or basketball.
Yeah.
That's their specialty. Those are the guys that cover this team. Like they cover this team. This guy covers this team. But and then you have the people like just cover like the whole general area of it, and that's kind of their specialties. And I think that's probably what made them come up the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
They've gotten really good reporting from really good writers, really good people who are interested in covering this topic, who care about this topic, and they're not just some random reporter that's rotated through for this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that can get stale, that can get old, and most of the time people can see right through that this has no idea what he's talking about,
sure.
or doesn't care about this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I definitely think that's gonna be something to change. But all right, guys, I think that's about time to wrap it up. Because unfortunately, we
all still love you.
Gone. Yes, we love you.
Love all of you guys. Please keep sending us your money.
That'd be awesome.
For all of you that say you have sent us money, we're still waiting on it. So maybe send some more. But it's been lovely, ladies and gentlemen.
So, all right. So was it Facebook, Twitter?
Oh yeah.
Stitcher,
hit us up on our Facebook page, Thinking Outside the Pod on Facebook, TOTPod on Twitter. Stitcher or iTunes to subscribe to our podcasts. You'll get updates every time. It looks great. On the background icon, the whole user interface experience with iTunes or Stitcher is very fun, very cool, and you can subscribe to us there. As always, we've got our blogs. Fisher's going to be working on his, I'm assuming, maybe. Just a little bit.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
If not, we're going to turn it into some kind of awful site for him.
All right.
We'll take pictures of him while he sleeps and post them up there for everyone to see.
Hey, all right, there we go. There's something. Hey, at least something will get on it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how.
But I think that's, what else? We got to include anything else?
No, I think that's it. I mean, Jimmy hopefully will be back next week. So
yeah, Jimmy should be back from his walkabout next week.
So we'll figure out.
He visited Mars. We will never know.
Who knows?
Well, we might know next week. Maybe next week we'll do a Welcome Back Jimmy episode and let him host it and tell us what he did.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Who knows? Yeah.
Like, who knows what he did? Jimmy's a very mysterious man. You know what I'm saying?
He comes back from a walrus or something like that.
He comes back like a walrus?
Oh, no, with a walrus.
Oh, no. I thought you said he comes back as a walrus. Like, what was that movie, Tusk?
Or Shamu or something like that. He freed the whales.
Oh, my God. Jimmy.
Who knows?
Get back here.
But all right, guys, so that's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys next week.
Same bad place, same bad time. Later, guys.
Bye. Thanks for watching our video, guys.
Before you leave, don't forget to rate and subscribe so you'll be informed for all of our future updates.
Make sure you visit our social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, or visit the website, thinkingoutsidethepod.com. All the links will be in the description below.